The SWAT standoff underway in La Mesa.
I'm committed to making sure that Chula Vista is clean and safe.
How Chula Vista is addressing their trash trouble today. Plus, a big change impacting many refugees here in San Diego today.
A field of dreams and fulfilling a promise. What a 7-year-old ball player did here at the plate to honor his late father who died of cancer. I'm Eric Connors. The moment you got to see to believe, coming up.
You're watching CBS 8 Mornings at 6.
And thank you so much for being here. Hope you had a nice weekend, everyone. It's 6 a.m. on your Monday. I'm Eric Connors.
And I'm Netta Iranpour. Glad you're with us, and we have a lot to get to. But let's begin with this forecast of ours.
Yeah.
Some changes coming?
Some changes coming by the end of the week, about Thursday, Friday timeframe. Might watch for an uptick in humidity as monsoonal moisture comes around again. Chances for that are still pretty slim, so we'll cover that in a few minutes. But we'll start off with what a beautiful weekend we just wrapped up, and with how the forecast is going to kind of carry on over those same conditions. Today's forecast takes us to 72 out by the coast to 82 inland. Clouds are hugging the western slopes of the mountains and will pull their way back very slowly as the day progresses. And 90s for the mountains, 110 out there for the deserts. We're going to be talking more about that monsoonal moisture in just a few minutes, and about that drop in temperatures that we could see between about now and Wednesday. It's all coming up in just a few. I'll send things over to Vanessa. She has more on how traffic is looking.
Hey, Evan, and happy Monday to everyone tuning in. Hope you all had a great weekend. So far, so good out on our freeways and major highways. We were tracking a crash that reportedly had some sort of fire involved, but it looks like it was removed from the CAD. Regardless, a tow truck still on scene, and that's going to be on the 805 north at 43rd. May or may not plug things up for you when you're headed out of the South Bay this morning. Average speeds through that pocket, 45, 50 miles per hour. As we give you a wider view on both the 5 and the 805, no major issues nor delays. In fact, as we pull up some of those travel times, still in the green, 9 to 15 minutes right now, headed northbound on the 5 and the 805. Eric and Netta.
Thank you very much, Vanessa. And now let's get to this breaking news here, where a SWAT standoff is underway in La Mesa.
Yeah, this is happening in the 6900 block of Hoffman Avenue. And CBS 8's Regina Garita live at the scene with everything we know at this moment here. Regina?
Hey, good morning, guys. That's right. Well, we're actually at the Vista La Mesa Academy. This is where the watch commander, or at least the command post, is located. So you're actually noticing the La Mesa Police Department, as well as the San Diego County Sheriff's Department's RV. They're here. This has been pretty long morning for them, since that SWAT standoff actually started around 9 a.m. Now, I do want to tell you, we are trying to get more details of what happened. We actually have the lieutenant here, if I'm correct. You just walked over here. We're trying to get more information. So walk me through this morning, what sort of unfolded with this SWAT standoff.
You guys are live?
Yes.
Okay. No, that's fine. I'll give you a quick little bit. So this actually started last night. This was at about 9:45 last night. We got a call about a DV over here on Hoffman, 6900 block. Male inside with a female. They've been refusing to come out, and at one point the male did have a firearm, which he didn't brandish at the officers, which led to the SWAT call out. So that's the quick bit for now.
Was there any injuries, especially
no
when
injuries as of yet? We're going to do our best to keep it that way.
And it's still happening right now as we speak. They're still in there. Is this a domestic dispute? Is that what we're hearing, or?
Correct. That's how the call came in initially.
Right. And you said this started around
9:45 last night.
Wow. And so walk me through sort of the steps of what you guys are waiting, just because they're still inside in that home.
Well, safety is our priority for the people inside, for the officers that are out here. So, you know, we're not rushing into anything. All the necessary safety precautions. Our SWAT team is here. We have additional resources from some of our allied agency, K9. The San Diego PD's helicopter was overhead last night before the clouds moved in. So that was some assistance as well. So we're just going to take it slow. We've been able to establish some communication with people inside, and hopefully just get them to come out peacefully and resolve the situation without any injuries.
Thank you guys so much for the work that you guys have been doing all morning. Guys, we're going to actually continue talking to the lieutenant here, but for now you kind of just got the preliminary information that we've been trying to get all morning. We'll keep you guys updated with more. For now, I'll send it back to you.
Okay, Regina, live with the latest there. Thank you for that. Today, Chula Vista holding a special city council meeting as trash is piling up. The meeting scheduled for 5 p.m. at Chula Vista City Hall.
Republic Services workers are standing in solidarity with their Teamster brothers and sisters on strike on the East Coast. Other municipalities impacted include Otay Mesa, Imperial Beach, and San Isidro. Chula Vista Mayor John McCann tells CBS 8 this is not the first time the city has experienced this.
We actually had a real strike back in 2022, and there were actual negotiations, but this essentially has nothing to do with this time. And the sad thing is that we're the main city being targeted. You go up to North County, that's being serviced by Republic Services, and they are not being affected.
The company says it's working to resume regular service and is telling people to leave their containers out.
A young person has died after a crash involving an electric scooter in Chula Vista. Police say they got a call around 2 p.m. yesterday about a person pinned under a car on Tango Loop. When first responders got to the scene, they found that person had been riding an e-scooter before getting hit by the car, and they died at the Rady Children's Hospital. Investigators have not revealed how old the person was. This does come just days after the city of Chula Vista approved a new ordinance to regulate e-scooters and e-bikes. Those new rules go into effect next month.
This morning, the sheriff's office is investigating the death of an inmate at the Vista detention facility. Investigators say around 3 a.m. yesterday, deputies were performing routine safety checks when they found a 43-year-old inmate unresponsive in his cell. Medical staff began CPR before paramedics and the Vista Fire Department took over. We do not have a cause of death. We also do not know his name, but he had been in custody since June 15th on burglary and vandalism charges. This is the 6th inmate death at San Diego County jails this year. This morning, more than 11,000 Afghan refugees in the U.S. are facing deportation.
And that's because their temporary protected status ends today. CBS 8's Chris Grow live in studio to tell us the decision by the Trump administration affecting so many families in San Diego.
Yeah, many of them resettled here to San Diego where they lived, they worked, and again, their status now having been ended. They either came here during the war in Afghanistan or immediately after U.S. forces withdrew under the Biden administration. Now, some background here. We've been hearing this term, right? TPS, temporary protected status. It's a program that allows for refugees of designated countries to live and work here in the States. This is usually because their home country is war-torn and would be an immediate danger for them to return. It's also possible that they helped and assisted U.S. forces, as is the case here in Afghanistan. It's not a direct pathway to citizenship. Those under TPS now face deportation. In May, DHS Secretary announced that it would be ending the TPS for Afghan refugees. In the announcement, Secretary Kristi Noem said, quote, "We've reviewed the conditions in Afghanistan with our interagency partners, and they do not meet the requirements for a TPS designation." She goes on to say that Afghanistan has improved both their economic and security measures. However, advocates who have helped these refugees settle in the U.S. dispute those claims. They believe it is still dangerous under Taliban rule, especially for those who helped U.S. forces. We spoke with the founder of an organization called Afghan Evac, an organization that helped refugees settle here in the U.S., as well as a volunteer for the organization.
Prosecutors and lawyers who put the Taliban away. They are female tactical platoon members who gathered intelligence for us. They're partner forces who trained, fought, and bled alongside our Navy SEALs and Green Berets.
Now we realize how lucky we are, how much we love this country, the freedom we have here.
May, you just heard from there, is one of the volunteers for the organization, Ramat Mokhtar. He was also served as an interpreter for the U.S. Marines in Afghanistan for about 4 years. Came to the States with a special visa in 2016, but even to this day still fears retaliation and does not do international press. Back to you guys.
All right, Chris, thanks for that.
Okay, let's see what's going on out there. As you mentioned monsoonal moisture,
yeah,
and it's taken me back.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's been a while.
Have to be reminded of what this time of the year brings us. And that means that as we get toward Thursday and Friday, end of this week, we see a possibility of a few showers, maybe a few thunderstorms popping up out toward the mountains and deserts. What I will say is that our chances here in San Diego County are way lower than the chances that we see in other parts of the state, especially up towards San Bernardino and Riverside County. And we still have about 4 to 5 days before we are really able to see what this is going to look like. So In the meantime, what we can let you know about is that between now and Wednesday, we stay dry, we stay mild, and we even see temperatures cooling down slightly from where they are this afternoon. We'll especially see that cool down out toward the mountains and deserts where they're still quite warm this afternoon. Out along the coast, low 70s, 80s for your inland valleys, partly cloudy skies for each afternoon moving forward. And you can see how that marine layer has already stretched out to the western slopes of the mountains, but is already showing a couple breaks in those clouds. Live look at that sunrise. It was at 5:51 that we saw it about 20 minutes ago. Beautiful out there. But again, most of us are under this layer of clouds. This live look from Mount San Miguel facing east. Here are those high temperatures that we're talking about. Ridge of high pressure still flexing on the desert southwest, with Palm Springs shooting for 111, along with Vegas. Phoenix going for 109. We got Bakersfield at 104 and Fresno at 105. We can be grateful for that onshore flow, the more mild temperatures close to the coastline. But again, as you make your way out east, you'll notice that climb in temperatures. When we look at your conditions outside right now, clouds have helped to keep our temperatures very uniform to kick off the morning. So almost across the board, whether you're along the coast or inland, you have temperatures in the mid 60s, 65 in Chula Vista, 66 in downtown and in National City to kick off our Monday morning. Vanessa, how are roads on our Monday morning?
Overall, the drive so far so good. However, there are a few crashes we need to let you know about, spanning from the South Bay all the way towards the North County. So let's go ahead and get right to it. This is our look at our traffic maps, really wide view there. As we zoom on into the South Bay, we had a crash earlier, reportedly involving some sort of fire. The car engulfed in flames. It looks like they handled that, but now the car is hanging on the shoulder, waiting for a tow truck to arrive on scene, and that's going to be on the 805 North at 43rd. We also have a crash that we're tracking in the North County involving two cars, and that's on the 76 right at Olive Hill Road. Notice how none of those crashes so far, though, are causing any major delays nor brake tapping. And then this one, just a heads up, maybe you're headed towards Orange or Los Angeles counties, anywhere near that Camp Pendleton area. We are tracking a crash. A car reportedly crashed into the center divide, and that's going to be on the 5 South at Aliso Creek Road, also known as one of the rest stops in that area. So far, so good as in terms of speeds, but of course, as the morning progresses, that could very well change. All right, taking a look at travel times very quickly out of the South Bay, about 9 to 15 minutes right now, headed northbound in from the San Ysidro area towards downtown San Diego. No major issues if you're traveling in from the 54 to the Mission Valley area on the 5 passing the downtown area. We're averaging about 70 mile-per-hour speeds, and that travel time 10 minutes. Easy drive to Coronado Island, full span of the bridge, taking about 3 minutes, averaging about 45 miles per hour. All right, taking a look at your border wait times really quickly, about an hour and 20 to get you inbound from the San Ysidro port of entry. If you're traveling in from Otay Mesa port of entry, about that century degree mark, 100 minutes to cross into the border in that section.